Most people treat their dishwasher like a hot bath for dirty plates. Load them in, add soap, let them soak. But that is not what happens inside. Your dishwasher never fills with water. It holds 3 gallons at the bottom, heats them to 68 degrees, and fires them through spinning arms at enough pressure to strip dried food off steel. The water falls back, gets filtered, reheated, and fires again. Same 3 gallons, dozens of cycles. No soaking, no scrubbing, no contact. Somebody had to invent that loop, and she did it in a shed with no engineering degree because the servants kept breaking her grandmother's china. Josephine Cochran was not who you would expect to revolutionize the kitchen. She was a wealthy socialite in Shelbyville, Illinois, known for throwing lavish dinner parties. The porcelain she served on had been in her family since the 1600s. When servants chipped it one too many times, she tried washing it herself. She hated every second. Then, in 1883, her husband died and left her with almost nothing but debt. That frustration became fuel. "If nobody else is going to invent a dishwashing machine," she said, "I will do it myself." She hired a railroad mechanic named George Butters. Together they worked in her woodshed. Cochran measured every plate, cup, and saucer she owned and built wire compartments to hold each piece inside a wheel that lay flat in a copper boiler. A motor turned the wheel while hot soapy water sprayed upward from below. Every machine before hers used scrubbers that dragged across dishes. Cochran was the first to clean with water pressure alone. No contact, just force. She received a patent in 1886. Hotels bought her machines immediately. Households refused. Most homes lacked hot water heaters powerful enough to run them. It took 70 years before the dishwasher reached ordinary American kitchens. So, what exactly happens inside that loop? When you press start, the inlet valve opens and cold water flows into the bottom of your tub. Just 3 to 4 gallons. A heating element at the base raises that water to between 50 and 68 degrees Celsius, depending on the cycle you choose. Sanitizing cycles push it to 75 degrees. Hot enough to kill 99% of bacteria on your plates in under 30 seconds. Once the water reaches temperature, your detergent dispenser clicks open. The tablet you loaded is not soap. It is a chemical sequence. Surfactants break the bond between grease and surfaces. Amylase enzymes digest starches. Protease enzymes break down proteins. Bleaching agents made from sodium percarbonate oxidize colored stains. Builders like sodium tripolyphosphate soften hard water by binding calcium and magnesium ions. The enzymes work best at lower temperatures, so they activate early in the cycle before the water gets too hot. Then the pump engages. An electric motor forces heated water upward through narrow channels into your spray arms. Most machines have 2 or 3, one beneath each rack, and sometimes one on the ceiling. Water exits through angled holes at high pressure, and the force makes the arms spin like lawn sprinklers. The rotation ensures every surface of your dishes gets hit. Here is where the engineering matters. The water does not just spray and drain, it falls back to the basin, passes through a filter that traps your food particles, gets reheated, and cycles through the spray arms again. The same 3 gallons circulate dozens of times. Each pass removes more residue than the last. After the wash, dirty water drains through a hose into your waste system. Fresh water enters for rinsing. Rinse aid lowers the surface tension of water, so it sheets off your glasses instead of forming droplets. That is why your glasses come out clear instead of spotted. The final stage is heat drying. The same element that heated your wash water now heats the air inside the tub, evaporating moisture from every surface. A normal cycle recirculates your water 5 to 7 times. A heavy-duty cycle can push that to 12. 3 gallons. No scrubbing. 200 of your dishes clean in one go. But the strangest part is why your dishwasher cleans better dirty than clean. If you pre-rinse your plates before loading them, you are making your machine less effective. Modern detergent enzymes need food particles to work. Protease and amylase are designed to latch onto proteins and starches. Without grime, they have nothing to activate on, and your plates end up with a film of undissolved detergent. Your dishwasher also has soil sensors that detect how dirty the water is. Pre-rinse and the sensors read clean water, shorten the cycle, reduce temperature. You get a weaker wash because you tried to help. Here is where the story flips. When Cochrane started selling dishwashers to households, most women refused. Not because the machines were too expensive, because many women in the 1890s did not believe their own time, and comfort had monetary value. Spending money to eliminate a chore felt like an indulgence they could not justify. Cochrane later admitted that if she had known what she was getting into, she never would have started. But then she said she would have missed a very wonderful experience. Next time your dishwasher runs, press your ear against the door. That low hum is not water filling a tub. It is the same 3 gallons being fired, caught, filtered, and fired again in a loop that has not fundamentally changed since 1886. A socialite's anger at chipped porcelain became a patent. That patent became KitchenAid. KitchenAid became the machine humming in your kitchen right now. And that hum carries something most people miss. Every dishwasher cycle is a small act of engineering confidence. The machine takes your dirtiest plates, your baked-on pans, your grease-caked pots, and says, "Give me 3 gallons and 90 minutes. No scrubbing, no friction, no contact. Just trust the loop." Josephine Cochrane built that confidence into the first prototype. And 140 years later, it still runs every night in kitchens she never imagined. Not a hot bath. Never was. Just 3 gallons, a loop, and a principle a woman figured out in a shed before anyone else would. That is the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there is something you would like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.